It just wrecked my parlay, and the Thundering
You
Herd
and a
wrecked
bunch
Notre
of
Dame's
others.
start of the season.
This was a parlay buster today.
This is a rundown record.
And for that faithful Marshall fan, or just a fan of gambling, for you, whoever you are, whatever you put on the line for Marshall, I tip my hat to you, even though I don't have a hat on.
How the heck did that happen? How did Notre Dame lose to Marshall?
They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. And one thing I know about the game of football, if you do not have a quarterback, the field is 150 yards. It's no longer 100 yards anymore. It feels like it's 150 based on the inability to be able to generate and convert first downs, to drive the length of the football field, to be able to put points on the scoreboard. Now, if you go back and let's recap the Notre Dame-Ohio State game, right? Notre Dame defense came to play, but they had some issues offensively. But one thing we all said was, you know what? It's more about Ohio State's defense being that dominant. No, they have a good unit. That is, they're in Columbus on the defensive side, but Notre Dame offense, they're stagnant. They're bad. They're below average. They do not have a quarterback. Until they find a way to get efficiency at the quarterback position, they're going to continue to struggle. We saw 3 costly, bad interceptions. Bad interceptions. One was returned for a touchdown, came out to be one of the big-time game-winning plays for Marshall, and because of that, Notre Dame playoff conversations, it's done. Well, it's down the toilet.
They have one of the top-ranked recruiting classes in 2023, and there's a couple quarterbacks that are in that class. So that's next year. As for this year, I mean, 0-2. You might as well forget college football playoff. It's over.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I felt like the way they lost last week on the road, pretty competitive game. If they took care of their business the rest of the way, Notre Dame would find a way to kind of weasel their way into that conversation.
They went out,
There's no more weaseling anymore. No. That weasel is dead. Disco dead.
So you're 0-2, and you're Marcus Freeman right now, and coming into the season, there's all this hype. What are you saying to your team right now? I mean, I get it. You lose to Ohio State on the road, but you come home for your home opener to take on Marshall out of the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a win. I mean, the odds told you it's supposed to be a win.
No question.
The brand names told you it's supposed to be a win. The colors told you it's supposed to be a win. I'm just kidding. Green, I mean, look, Notre Dame is a blue blood, okay? You're not supposed to lose to Marshall, all right?
I can see the disappointment coming from your face right now. Because Hakeem, guys, girls, he had Notre Dame in a nice parlay. And it's disco dead. So this is personal for Hakeem. It can be personal for you too as well, because we know the majority of you guys that watch us, you guys put money on these ball games. You faithfully watch the games to watch your money. And many people thought this was almost a guarantee victory for the Fighting Irish. They laid down, and next week they got Cal, UNC, BYU, Stanford, UNLV, Syracuse, Clemson, the rest of the way. This pretty much ended their season, right? I think it's safe to say. I think this ended their season. Granted, you still have games to be played, right. But if I'm Coach Freeman, I'm telling my roster, I'm telling my staff, no job is safe right now. No job is safe. There's no job security when it comes to the staff. There's no job security when it comes to the players and the personnel.
Well, this is his first full season, right? So now you got to find out what this team is made of.
Yeah.
Now you got to say, okay, Tyler Buckner, Drew Pine.
They ain't got no quarterback.
Who's going to be the QB1? Who's it going to be?
You talked about some of the quarterbacks they have in this outstanding.
Yeah, they got their draft classes in 2023 and 2024
recruiting class
are some of the best in the nation.
Well, you tell these recruits that play the quarterback position, we need you right now.
Yeah.
Because clearly they don't have quarterback play at all. Bad quarterback play at Notre Dame right now. And like I said, remember this. If I don't tell you anything else throughout this evening, if you don't have a quarterback, the field is 150 yards. Guarantee. You're okay. It's okay. Just put together another parlay.
Here's the thing, right? Like when you build your parlay, you have certain legs of your parlay. You go lock. Okay, this might be a little bit of a toss-up. Like, I had Florida and Kentucky. I've had Florida in my parlay.
Yep.
They're only minus 200 favorite. I'm thinking, okay. But Notre Dame I thought it was a lock to win. And instead it's not. It's a massive upset.
It is. But it's great for college football because we get a chance to talk about it. And I feel extra good because I didn't put Notre Dame in my parlay.
You should feel good. Look at this. Look at this, Marcus Freeman. First Notre Dame head coach to ever start 0-3. The first Notre Dame head coach to ever start 0-3. Think about all the head coaches at Notre Dame. Like Newt Rockne's.
The bowl game. I mean, it's not a regular. It wasn't a regular season game. Don't do him like that.
So you're saying that's a qualified stat? It's kind of like one of
those. He's 0-2. I mean, he took over the job. Remember, Brian Kelly jumped ship, went down to Baton Rouge.
Scrub that loss from his record.
I'm not saying scrub it, but don't make it seem like
I wish I could scrub today's loss from the record.
Oh, you fired up. Just put together another parlay. I already did.
I put it together right before we went up. I already put it together.
Don't bow down. Keep fighting. Keep swinging. Just don't put Notre Dame in your parlays the rest of the way.
This is what. But the thing is here with this chaos, right, B-Mac? This is the chaos, though, that in a couple years, when we have the expanded playoffs, then it's like, okay, you know what, this can happen, and Notre Dame could run the table.
I don't
still make the playoff.
I don't like that. That's my issue. You don't want to dilute it.
A lot of these games, they mean so much every week in, week out. A game like this, Notre Dame could run the table, go 10-2, you know, and maybe if they joined a conference and they could still get in. Now there's no shot at getting in.
It's a wrap.
And to me, what does this mean for Notre Dame now that they have to go rest of way and their playoff hopes are dashed? At this point, you're playing for Notre Dame. You're playing for Marcus Freeman. You want to finish the season, but now there's no reward in the end outside of earning a winning year.
Well, you still have a lot to fight for. You know, you play for a prestigious university, a blue blood football program with faithful fans that go out and support you and donate to the program. So it's your job to put a smile on their face, but most importantly, put a smile on your face first. And the best way to do that is by winning, is by competing. Is by going out and showcasing relentless effort. We're not seeing that right now. So everyone that has a Fighting Irish uniform on, a T-shirt, a ball cap, look yourself in the mirror and find out what you need to do better to change the direction of this program. Because I can say this much. One thing about college football, they recruit year in and year out. And the guys that they have on this quote-unquote commitment list for Notre Dame in next year's recruiting class, you better believe they see the window of opportunity is there, especially in key positions of the offensive end. So they still have a lot at stake. They just don't have the playoffs to fight for anymore. But you still got a lot going on because you play for Notre Dame, you go to school at Notre Dame, the support is there, the expectations are always high. But just for this year right now, it's tough to say. But in 2 weeks of play for Notre Dame, you have no shot in making the playoffs.
Yeah, one of the big recruits they have is a kid that announced his commitment right here on HQ, C.J. Carr, the grandson of Lloyd Carr. He did not go to Michigan. He went to Notre Dame. But that's not for a couple more seasons. So unless there's some situation you get early enroll, that the situation here right now, you got Tyler Buckner, you got Drew Pine, you got to figure out what else you're going to do moving forward.
And then I don't think either guy's the answer right now.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's what you got to rock and roll with.
But isn't that surprising, though, at a school like Notre Dame? Because they had Jack Cohn, they had Ian Book. They had these quarterbacks that were pretty good. We're not saying top 20, top 10 in the nation, but they were good to help you win football games.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like – and look, Marcus Freeman, he came in with these. These are the guys that he necessarily recruit.
But let's keep it real in regards to real good quarterback play in college football. There are only a few teams that have that.
Right.
Security. You know what I mean? You look at Ohio State, Alabama, USC, Florida. Hendon Hooker is a pretty good ball player. Van Dyke at Miami. But you have more teams that wish they had that type of production at the quarterback position than not. And so that's the thing with Notre Dame. I never expect for them to have a professional-like player at the quarterback position for this year, but I did expect them to have an above average player at the quarterback position. We're not seeing this. Think about last week, it was like a moral victory for Notre Dame.
It was. You're
right. They
right.
lost to Ohio State, competitive game, could have easily won that game, but everyone was saying, you know what? Notre Dame, if they can just find a way to be better on the offensive end, the way their defense played, this is a team that can control their own destiny. But then all the offensive woes that we saw last week was swept under the rug because of the team they played against. No, those woes are still there. They're well documented, and they have to find an answer on that side of the ball because if they don't, it will be a long, long season.
3 turnovers is what did it in. Marshall played clean football. Notre Dame did not. 2 interceptions from Tyler Buckner and a couple, again, 2 interceptions from Buckner, 1 from Pine. And that turns out to be the difference here because if that pick 6 is not thrown,
no question,
Notre Dame might pull it out. They might squeak it out.
They might squeak it out. And then guess what? You know, if they've been able to squeak it out, we're still talking about them. Maybe they might can sneak into the playoffs, but the better team won today, and that's the Thundering Herd.
When you look at this from Marshall's standpoint, for Charles Huff, the head coach, they outrushed Notre Dame on this day.
Yeah.
What does this mean for this program? One of the biggest in their program's history, and we know
signature win, not just for Huff as a head coach, but for the program on a national stage, national TV, on the road, being able to do what they did today. I mean, LeBron had 163 yards on the ground. Remember, this was a defense last week that kind of, suffocated Ohio State's game plan offensively. They allowed over 200 yards on the ground today from Marshall. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame couldn't get it going. I mean, their leading rusher was Tyler Buckner. He had 44 yards rushing. Yeah. You needed Audric Estime to get going. He had a touchdown last week against Ohio State. It just didn't happen. And so for Notre Dame, this is going to be a missed opportunity for Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame. Because, look, we talked about Notre Dame and the season that they had hoped they would have. First season under Marcus Freeman, all this hype coming in, and then it just gets absolutely ruined as Marshall comes to town and beats them.
Yeah. The hype is disco dead. The playoffs is disco dead. Disco been dead for what? Since the early 80s?
80s.
Yeah, that's how they feel right now. Disco's not returning either.
It might return.
No.
It's all good things come back, though.
No, well, we've been waiting for disco.
Bell bottoms are coming back now. You've seen all kind of.
Well, you think
trends.
their playoff hopes is coming back?
No, their playoff hopes are over.
That's why it's disco dead.
They're buried like in a cemetery.
Exactly, it's disco. Like, disco is dead in the cemetery too. It's not coming back.
You might be bringing back disco.
I won't.
You might try to bring it back.
I will not. I won't try. I won't.
What's not coming back is the hopes for Notre Dame.
I agree.
Playoff. Maybe a couple years it will.
Yeah, maybe next 2023.
I can't. You know what? Hey, and look, if you had Notre Dame in a parlay, I mean,
they did.
I'm feeling it. I mean, I'm feeling your pain just like you. So,
but that's the
I'm
life
sitting right there with you
of a gambler. You win some and you lose some. But today, you were not supposed to lose. You felt so good when you put Notre Dame in your parlay.
Like I said, when you build a parlay, you have certain teams. You go, okay, that's a backbone. That's an automatic win.
Yeah.
That's an automatic win.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes when you when you put a team in a parlay that's like minus 1,000.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just put it in there to get an extra couple 10, 20 bucks to add to the payout.
Yeah. I had a cousin reach out to me. He asked me about this game. I said, I'm staying away from it.
Really?
I didn't feel good.
You didn't have a play on this game?
I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it at all.
You passed.
I passed.
Oh, good for you.
I'm so happy I passed.
You good?
That's why I feel good right now, and you don't.
Marshall paid $1.25 million to travel for this game.
So they got paid to beat up on Notre Dame?
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Wow. Oh, that's a good feeling when someone pay you to beat them up.
It's like that.
Basically.
It's like that. I'm trying to remember the coach, but it's like that. The GIF that went viral. Pay me my money.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Run me my money is what he said.
That's what Charles Huff is saying.
They ran Marshall, brought him in, paid him, and took an L. That's not good.
I ain't getting no money because my parlay got busted. Marshall with a signature win against Notre Dame. You take a look at their all-time wins against AP-ranked teams.
This is the best.
Just the fourth in the history of Thundering Herd football. And they beat App State a couple years ago, but my gosh, this is a huge win. Their first win against an AP top 10 since 2003 when they beat Kansas State on the road. And the Marshall Thundering Herd thunder into South Bend and pull off the upset against the 8th-ranked team in the nation.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.